Welcome to the second episode of Make Pro Wrestling Majestic Again. I am an extremely flustered and pissed off Tiger Height.
And I am I need to calm Tiger Height down because reasons peanut gallery.
Literally 20 things and half of my day was gone because we had to stream the goddamn show from my computer. So, anyway, other than me bitching, a new camera, we will figure it out later. This is about the best we're gonna fucking do for currently. Until I actually have some time to do it, which will be sometime this week.
Hope.
No, well, I mean, I actually will because I have an actual week to do it.
Oh.
So.
Okay.
Because I was an idiot and forgot to realize that I can use my phone as a streaming thing until fucking Friday. It was a busy fucking week. Leave me alone. Anyway. We're talking about everything Impact. We're talking about Rebellion. We're talking about Peanut Gallery's ramblings from the hard camera. And then also Wrestling with Tiger Height. And then how we're going to make it more majestic. Even though the show is actually fucking awesome. Except for some matches, which I
Except for about half the show.
Right.
Let's talk about the show, perhaps.
Indeed.
And it's going to be a little bit of a different format. So I'm going to talk about the storylines leading up to the match,
right,
and then Tiger Heights.
So because my iPad is over there, and I'm not going to get it. What was our first match?
It's right. Well, in front of you. Isn't it right up in front of you?
Well, no, I have them in different orders. Oh. What was the first match? Do you not know?
No, that was the pre-show match. You're talking about the tag team match, right? The women's tag team match.
Yeah, that dog shit match that nobody cared about.
Right. So it was a nothing match.
It was. Hang on, I got it. Okay. Kimberly and Susan versus it was Rosemary and Havoc. It was literally a match to be a match, and you guys know that I absolutely hate matches for the sake of matches. I want matches meaning something.
I mean, there really wasn't a point in having this match. Like from a storyline perspective, it didn't make any sense because these. I mean. Maybe from a perspective of getting some teams going, because remember that the tag team titles, the women's tag titles, are brand new.
Right.
So we don't really know all that much.
And then you got
there's not an established hierarchy.
There we go. Then unfortunately they got rid of like a team because Nevaeh left, and they did not build this division. It's like, okay, who was this for exactly? So, it was a dog shit. It was literally a dog shit match.
It wasn't very good.
It was not very good. No. And luckily, everything was happening all at the same time.
Well, I do want to go
also, this is not whiskey. So, what we're drinking are very kid-friendly, very advertiser-friendly beverages. This is water.
And this is
grape juice.
Grape juice. And look at the stem. See, from very fancy looking.
You see, Peanut Gallery drinks his grape juice very fancy. That's kind of why he drinks it that way.
It's an own club. We're
trying to get advertisers. Come on.
So, anyways, what I found most interesting. So, we're talking a little bit about Make Pro Wrestling Majestic Again.
Yes.
The production of this was about an 85%. Now, this first initial match, dog shit.
Yep.
You saw Nevaeh's kicks. No.
Havoc's kicks.
Havoc's kicks. And they didn't do that hard camera switch right when the kick happened for the first round of it.
It's kind of what you were expecting, so it was super odd.
So anyways, those are some of the things that I noticed.
Kimberly looked like a fucking ballerina, and she looked totally awful. I've always hated this Susan bullshit, so whatever.
Yeah, I don't really understand it.
And for the sake of clarity, Havoc and Rosemary won. There was no point to this match. It's like, okay, these two are so good. Why are they being wasted on this bullshit? Anyway.
So let's talk about the first match. We got
this match was so good.
We got Josh Alexander, TJP, and Ace Austin. It was a triple threat rules match for the X Division Championship.
Yep.
The storyline going into it was, I would say it's average at best. You got Josh Alexander who's trying to make name for himself as a singles competitor.
There we go.
You have Ace Austin, of course, who was the X Division
He was just so
champion,
good, and TJP was just
and then
awesome.
You got TJP.
This match was awesome.
It was
such a great
opening match.
very high paced,
Yeah.
very action packed.
Let's talk about though Fight TV's problems with this match.
I don't know what was going on, and it wasn't only us that was having issues, but it seemed like Fight TV just couldn't get their shit together for at least the first 20 minutes.
Yeah.
This match had like some weird spots where it was like frame by frame for no reason, and we went on multiple. We refreshed it a couple of times, went on multiple streams, and it was all the same. So it's like, okay. And I was on Twitter, hashtag Tiger or at Tiger Height. Follow us there. There was a link to all of those down in the description. Shameless plug. But I looked at the GIFs that Fight TV was putting out, and even that was like blocked.
Right.
And it was like, okay, that does not look total dog shit. This is coming from us. Like, come on.
Right.
But it was a double arm pile driver for Josh Alexander to win.
Which is interesting. We'll talk about that in the last segment of our show.
It just went quickly downhill from there.
Yeah, absolutely. So
except for the next match. The next match was awesome.
We're going to talk about now Violent by Design. And so what happened was Eric Young could not compete.
Eddie Edwards is blocked off. It doesn't matter. I mean, he's pretty insignificant anyway.
So anyways, so Eric Young could not compete.
I think he has an ACL injury.
And so we got a replacement. It was W. Morrissey, otherwise known as Big Cass or Kaz XL or Colin Cassidy.
My God. He looked awesome.
He looked ripped as fuck. He was awesome. Anyways,
we have very large edge.
Anyway, so I love Violent by Design as a team. I think that they got great. They have a great storyline, great chemistry too.
They really
which
do.
Is really odd for a team of like who might be misfits. It's almost like, oh my God, they're like a faction. Like they have this.
Well, they most certainly are a faction. It's sanity done right. Essentially,
yeah. This is sanity done right.
It really is.
And then you got Eddie Edwards and crew.
We have Eddie Edwards, Chris Sabin, Willie Mack, and James Storm.
They did not have as good a chemistry as
I think competitive wise.
Yeah.
Everybody did great.
Oh, yeah.
And especially because Big Cass had to come in later. I'm going to call him Big Cass because that's what everybody knows him as.
Yeah.
He did amazing.
Or you can call him Cass.
Right. You know, Cass or William Morrissey or whatever you want to call him.
It's W. Morrissey.
W. Morrissey. He was excellent. Everyone was so good. Also, I didn't realize how tall this guy was.
W. Morrissey was the one who actually took the pin on top of Willie Mack.
Yep,
so Willie Mack lost.
East River Crossing, super awesome. It was so good. It was such a great match.
It was.
A
great debut for Morrissey.
And I'm hoping we get to see more of him in Impact in the coming future because that's how good it was.
Right. Let's talk about the next match. Brian Myers, Matt Cardona. They have
it was really good, but something happened.
Yeah. So, anyways, let's talk about the storyline leading up to the match.
Awesome.
It was a great storyline. I mean, they actually have a history,
right?
Which is what's most interesting.
18 years in the business, a very successful toy podcast, and now. You know, this is going to make that...
And now they're expecting to go up against each other as rivals.
Right.
Which I find really interesting, because let's talk a little bit about what happened during the match. So, during the match, the biggest fumble, I guess, was... and we got confirmation of this later on, but Cardona had a...
Cardona went for...
It was a dislocation.
Yeah, so what we are aware of, it was a Rough Rider... Well, a Rough Rider, I don't know what it's called now, but... Cardona landed horribly. And obviously right after UFC 261 with that leg kick where the tibia and fibula just wrapped around like a fucking slinky, you have this where Cardona said, the kneecap is back in place. This was not a planned injury. Throwing up the X, and I actually did look this up to make sure. It is illegal for any referee to do this falsely. You cannot do that under any commission in the United States.
Right.
When this is thrown up, this is real.
Right. So what happened though? Was I think that Cardona had communicated with the referee, and the referee had communicated with Myers.
It's like said, put me away, and Cardona did get up enough to hit two.
It was Yeah, Cardona got up. So Cardona said, "Let's finish the match off." And he
stood up for 2 roster cuts for a clean pin. At least it wasn't ref stoppage. He's like, no, I want this to be done at least with pinfall.
Right, and of course, who better than your best friend of 18 years?
Right, and somebody who is very good at wrestling.
Right.
I mean, both of these guys are excellent.
Yeah.
And in a situation like this is how you do it right.
Right. So let's talk about a match that does it wrong. So
oh, yes.
We're going to talk about
Jordynne
Grace and Ellering versus Fire and Flavor.
Now,
Kiera, Hogan,
I want full transparency, at least on this.
He was making dinner.
Son of a goddamn bitch. I forgot to put up the picture for the Cardona. Anyway, no bad. Anyway, so I was making dinner in this match. So Peanut Gallery pretty much has to take it over from this point because I have no idea what happened in the next 2 matches.
And fortunately, this match was missed by Tiger Hype because it was terrible.
What I saw, it looked dog shit.
It was absolutely awful. So some of the highlights, if you want to call them that, Fire and Flava were barely in coordination. Jordynne Grace and oh god, what's her name? Hold on. Rachael Ellering. They were just they looked like a fresh out of school tag team. Like they had no idea.
It was dog shit. It was so bad.
So bad. We're talking like the tag team moves, they looked weak. Fire and Flava, they did a little bit of a better job, but of course they've been a team for a little bit longer, but they were still so out of sync. It was some sort of powerbomb bullshit for
I literally put in here weird power slam, power bomb for the win for Grace and Ellering to win.
Which was really weird because Fire and Flava, they had their fair share of botches too. There was a spot where I think it was Tasha Steelz attempted to do a cutter on Ellering outside of the ring, but it was totally missed, number one, by production. It was bad. And number two, it just didn't look like they hit her at all. It's like, what happened? All of a sudden, Ellering's on the floor with Steelz. It's like, what happened? Oh, there's a cutter. It's like, well, I didn't see the fucking cutter. All I saw was people falling over.
Right. It was
awful.
I was like, oh, thank God I'm cooking now. And then the one match that I actually wanted to see, I missed pretty much the whole thing because I was still cooking.
And he didn't really miss that much. So let's talk about that match.
And I was actually really disappointed because what I heard, it was just...
For a Sami Callihan match, this was the worst Sami Callihan stipulation match I have ever seen.
I want to make this clear because I know both of them watch us. I know both of them listen to us, and they both follow me on social media. We are not criticizing your guys' chemistry or your things to produce a match.
No, the chemistry was actually really good. The match itself felt really... There wasn't enough... I expect like blood in a Sami Callihan match, like especially a last man standing
match. Like why?
I expected that from a WWE last man standing match, but not from an Impact last man standing match.
Especially all that they did. It's like, why didn't you guys bleed? And also to what I heard of,
there were some good spots with this match too.
And I guess the ending was weird.
It was a weird ending. I did not like the ending at all.
What I have here,
Sami Callihan slipped. So what happened was there was a table spot. Sami Callihan at a 9 slipped and fell back into the little ditch because he was one that was put through the table.
Right.
So he was right between the two parts of the table. And then Trey was the one who was near the fence. So actually he was supported by the ring.
It's so bad.
It was. So I don't think that the match ended the way that I was expecting. I feel like itself was just like... I feel like it felt rushed. I felt like that too, which is weird because I feel like the Cardona Myers match was prematurely cut. So I think, they're going to give some more time to one of these matches somewhere, right?
I think they gave more match to the women's the Knockouts tag team title match. I just have a feeling because it seemed like they were totally off.
The women's tag team match, according to this, was the shortest match of the night.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, thank Christ.
But anyways, the point is that it was not the match that I was expecting from a Sami Callihan match.
And especially a last man standing match, right?
I expected there to be some sort of more. I expected more gore, but what I really liked about it was there was a spot where Sami Callihan was sitting on top of the steel steps, and Trey Miguel was small enough underneath them. So what happened was, Trey Miguel was laying right by the side of the ring. Mm-hmm. Sami Callihan puts the steel steps on top of Trey Miguel, and then Sami sits on top of the steel steps. So Trey Miguel is stuck underneath the steel steps. What happens is Trey Miguel crawls from the steel steps underneath the ring and back out the other side and gets up at a 9.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So there were cool spots
there were some
in
really
this.
Cool spots. That was a redeeming factor in this match. There were really cool spots, but at the end of the day, I expected more Sami Callihan, but I did not get the Sami Callihan
that you were expecting.
Spirit. I didn't get the spirit of Sami Callihan.
Exactly. Anyway, so let's go into our next match, which was
FinJuice, Good Brothers. They got a great. So here's the thing about FinJuice and the Good Brothers. They have a great rivalry that goes way back. Like, it goes way back to New Japan. This is where I won the Majestic Champion of the World. By the way, this is where I won, and it was because of some
win with some bullshit. It was a roll-up. It was a roll-up. The match itself, I really enjoyed this match.
It was a really enjoyable match.
And also, this is when I finished dinner, so it was actually really helpful. It was a little hot, but my God, that stew was awesome. Anyway, I'm just sitting here jerking myself off over some fucking chicken stew. Anyway, the match itself was very good. It was a very good match. There were a lot of great spots. Good Brothers looked awesome, even in loss. And FinJuice, I'm surprised they're keeping the belt because, well, here's my thing. They both live here in America,
right? And so they're not going back to Japan anytime soon.
Well, because right now they're pretty much going on their third lockdown.
Yeah, and I have some theories as to what might happen.
As soon as I saw this, I was a little more worried about this match.
Yeah. So I have a few theories as to what's going to happen for Make Pro Wrestling Majestic again, which is
tap water.
It's not tap water. Well, maybe 1700s tap water.
It makes you feel funny.
It does. It makes you feel silly. Anyways, so it was an interesting finish of the match, but obviously
I actually really enjoyed this finish. It made FinJuice still look good even in win, even with the roll up, and the Good Brothers did not look bad. They're clearly going to do one more.
Right.
That's what they want to do.
Yeah, that's pretty much what they're going to do.
They want to do a Slammiversary number 3, or because they're actually really telling the story with a lot of these Impact Plus events, like Against All Odds.
Yeah, we're going to talk a little bit more about that with Make Pro Wrestling Majestic again.
Indeed, we are.
So let's talk about the penultimate main event.
Hang on, let me get the picture up here. Boom. All right.
Deonna Purrazzo versus Tenille Dashwood. So you can tell that there's a decade of difference between these two in terms of their experience. Tenille Dashwood has been in the business for about 20 years. Deonna Purrazzo has been in it for less than 10. Deonna Purrazzo looked horrible.
This was not a good match.
You can tell. I mean, there was such a difference between these two in terms of their production quality that you could tell which one was initiating.
Once again, we're not bashing either one of them. No. Deonna Purrazzo and Jordynne Grace worked such a great match.
They did, but you could tell with this match which one was carrying the sequence because with Tenille Dashwood carrying the sequence, it looked great. With Deonna Purrazzo,
it looked too safe.
It did.
And when you
talk about some of the spots being, especially the spot where she,
and this is coming from me, somebody who actually likes Deonna Purrazzo.
I love Deonna Purrazzo. She has a presence and a character about her that is absolutely
this was just not their A game. I did not like this rivalry going in. I'm gonna bitch about this making pro wrestling majestic again.
So tell me about this rivalry, how bad this was.
It was literally Dashwood won a big match at Hardcore.
It was like some sort of random
Hardcore Justice Fatal 4-Way to get the number 1 contendership. Did not change the character. She is still a heel. It's a heel match.
Yeah.
I hate these. I want a goddamn heel babyface match. The dynamic is a lot easier to keep in track of, and it's
because
like
then people might care about it.
Right. There's no anti-hero. Nobody here is an anti-hero. Everybody here is a heel.
Right.
Heel. heel. Both of them are heels. What's the point? Who can I get behind?
Right. So anyways,
and also both of them for me are fucking bae. Like, come on. My penis was really confused.
I understand that, but we'll talk about what happened after the match at the very end because that's when we made Pro Wrestling Majestic again. Let's talk about the match that won my heart, and I'm talking about Mauro Ranallo, who won my heart.
All right, so we got to talk about the match. Mauro Ranallo on commentary. We had
that was 5 stars.
Yep, Aubrey Edwards and I think Brian Hebner as referees essentially.
Because the Hebner name has never ever not called a match down the middle. Ever.
Once again, Tony Khan was great. He said, "Oh wait, what's your last name? Are you sure we can referee this?" It was really good.
It was really good.
And once again, this was kind of when I was making dinner still, and there was Don Callis jerking off Omega. Might as well get on bended knee, pull down his tights, and suck his cock until he comes in your belly, you piece of shit.
Well, I mean, Don Callis is. I mean, he's just a Callis. So, anyways.
I mean, he's the invisible man, the little guy who I don't know.
No, he's not the invisible hand. He's a very visible hand on top of Kenny Omega's gigantic cock.
Oh my God! You know, he's balls deep. So anyway, Omega Swann. Okay. I want to be serious here because, we like to make fun and jokes and stuff.
What I did not like about it was they spent 45. The only thing they talked about during the pre-show, other than the live portion of it,
jerking off the 45-minute. The main event. It was like, God
it was
damn.
just. It's like, can they talk about another match?
It was actually getting getting very annoying.
It actually was. But the storyline leading up to it makes a lot of sense. You can tell that there's a much larger theme going on with this, so you need to kind of play with it a little longer.
I'm honestly going to give my opinion, and I'm going to make this brief because I'll bitch about it more on Making Pro Wrestling Majestic again, but they did not mention this match literally ever on AEW Dynamite.
Oh, they did not know. It was very one-sided on Impact.
Why wasn't Rich Swann there? Why wasn't Don Callis putting over Swann like he did during this? Like, you guys have such a gigantic audience. Like, 1 million people watching the goddamn show. The last two, everybody knows what Impact is, but that's a bigger audience.
Right.
Why didn't you promote that show?
Right.
If you really want to do this, I feel like they're kind of worried about it, but it's like, come on.
Right.
Let's just go all out.
Right. Might as well.
Anyway, that's all I'm going to say for right now because I'll bitch about it when we make Pro Wrestling Majestic
It
again.
almost makes me wonder if TNT politics have gotten involved.
I really wonder, and I was actually going to say something about that during the show.
So anyways, let's talk about the match in general, though.
Amazing. It was amazing. My eyes were glued to it the whole time. Mauro Ranallo, after one paragraph, my fucking balls were empty. He just is so goddamn good. He's so quick-witted. He knows what to say. He knows
it's almost like he knows the product. Like the minute he walked in, he was like on top of the product.
It was like he was calling Impact Wrestling for 10 years.
Yeah.
He was just that good. And it's just like, man, I don't know why.
What I don't like, again, is that they did not give... the chemistry between Ranallo and Matt Striker was good, but again, you got the third man out.
D'Lo Brown actually, I thought, held his own. I thought he was okay.
Fair enough.
The only thing is that
I think they let Ranallo speak more on purpose because people wanted Ranallo to talk.
They put Ranallo in there, and nothing against D'Lo Brown, but Matt Striker and Mauro Ranallo was the team to call, and that's nothing against him. This is a new thing for D'Lo Brown.
It is.
So it's like a match like this, if you want to get this kind of veteran thing, great, do it.
Right.
It was great. Both of them just really fed off each other well.
I'm glad it wasn't someone like JR or something calling
it. We had that perfect amount where it's all good. It's good to see Mauro Ranallo back. I think the problem is that WWE really... It wasn't really WWE's fault. It was just Mauro's mental state.
Yeah.
And I can't say anything bad because somebody who actually has mental states of his own, I understand.
So let's talk about the match itself.
Just too much work.
The match, if there's one match you should watch, it's this one. This one was a 4.5 star, 4 to 4.5 star match.
Oh, yeah.
It was that good.
So are we going to do star ratings and stuff now, or are we going to do it after we make?
We
this
don't do the
Majestic
star
one?
ratings anymore.
Oh,
But
okay.
this was the best match of the night for sure.
This could be match of the year contender.
It could be,
I'm
yes.
actually going to even say that it's match of the year
Yeah.
contender by far.
Yeah, remember, we don't do star ratings anymore. This is Make Pro Wrestling with Jess again.
Right. Anyway, so after that, I mean, the show itself is awesome.
Yeah. So
it was
anyways,
so great.
when we come back, heckling from the hard camera, the gallery of peanuts.
The current Majestic champion of the world after some bullshit.
We're going to talk about the impact of TNA wrestling on the pro wrestling industry.
Yeah.